Hello, welcome everyone. This is our new lecture, and in this lecture, we are going to start a very new chapter. This is chapter 5, programming language. In this chapter, we have two parts. In part number 1, you will get algorithm and flowchart, and in part 2, you will get programming. So, now let's start. What is programming language? We have a language that we can communicate to each other, and also if we want to communicate with the computer and if we want to give a command to your computer, then we have to know a programming language. So a programming language is a formal language used to communicate instruction to a computer. It provides a set of rules and syntax that programmers use to write code that a computer can understand and execute. That means, in short, a programming language can give a command to our computer, and they and after that computer can execute a program. Okay, so in this language we actually write code to give the command to our computer. So here, in simple terms, a programming language is like a translator between human and machine language. That means if you want to give command to your computer, that means you need a translator. Here the programming language translate your language to the computer language that computer can understand your word and they can work according to your command. So here, what is our purpose? To create software, apps, website, games, and control hardware. That means whatever you use in your device, everything needs programming language to build a website or application or games or whatever you use in your device. So that means all the software or all the website are created by a programming language. So here we have a lots of programming language. Here C is our foundation of many modern language, or you can say that C is the mother of programming language. That means if you want to write code or if you want to give command to the computer, that means at first you have to know the C language. That means because C is the mother of language, if you don't know the C, that means you can't you are not able to learn any other language without this C. So we have also another programming language like Python, easy to learn, widely used in AI, data science, and web development. Also Java, popular for Android apps and enterprise software. We have also JavaScript. Here is the another language used to make web pages interactive. C++ is the second generation of C language, so used for system software development and game engines. So here also you have HTML or CSS. You already know about that HTML language. We learned this language in our chapter number 4. But this is not a programming language in a strict sense, but used to structure and style web content. So that means it actually create a website and they actually create the style of the website, but it is not a programming language in a strict sense, but this is the kind of a language that can command a computer. So here the difference between C and HTML is that C is a case sensitive language. You can see this, C is a case sensitive language and HTML is a scripting language. So what is the difference between those languages? Case sensitive language means if you write A and in a smaller word and also A in a capital form, here we have the difference, right? So here in terms of English, so here is no major difference without their appearance, right? Here we call A and also A to both of them, right? But in terms of programming, here is the difference between smaller a and the capital A. So also we already call lowercase and uppercase. So here we have the difference between case. So that's why, and C language must understand the difference, because we already know that A to Z they had a different number 65 to 90 to understand those uppercase, and also for the lowercase they had the different number 97 to 122. So they had the different number for each of the case. That means they have the case sensitivity. Okay, where HTML does not have this kinds of case sensitivity, and they are called the scripting language because we used to write script by this language and give the command to our computer. That's why this is called the scripting language. So you have to know the difference between those languages And if you do any kinds of mistake in your script, like if you use a smaller a instead of capital A, so it does not make change. Okay, so HTML, this is not a case sensitive, where C is a case sensitive language. So you have to know the difference. That's then you can write in your exam perfectly. So we have to move then problem solving method. So how can we solve a problem through our C language? Okay, in this chapter we just learn about C. We don't need to learn these kinds of language because in our textbook we just learn the C language. So here problem solving method, what is this solving method? According to textbook, I repeat, according to your textbook. Okay, this is not the industrial level program solving method. So this is in your textbook we have just 3 steps. So you can solve a problem by algorithm, or you can solve a problem by the flowchart, and also you can solve a problem in C program. So if you want to solve a problem with the C program, that means at first you have to plan that how to solve the problem. So this is the plan. This is called the algorithm, that you can solve. You can write down the solution method step by step, and this is called the algorithm. And flowchart is the graphical format of those algorithm. That means you have to write the solution in a graphical chart, and after that you have to write the C program. C program is a language, so we have to write the program after those 2 parts. So now we have to know about algorithm in detail. So here algorithm means the step by step method. So here algorithm, and algorithm is a step by step set of instruction used to solve a problem or perform a task. That means if you want to solve a problem, then you have to write down the solution method step by step instruction, and this is the way you can write, and this is called algorithm. Okay, this is very simple. We have an example here. Step 1, we have to start the solution. After that, step 2, 3, 4, or you maybe you need more steps according to your problem. That's why we don't write any kinds of step there, because these steps are working according to the problem. So that's why we just keep blank on those steps. After that, when you want to stop the algorithm, then the last step should be here step 5, because we have just 4 steps. But if you have more steps than 4, then you can write the step after the last step. So here the step 5, then we have to write stop. That means step 1 and step 5 is the fixed. Step 1, that means start, and step 5 means the stop is the fixed for each algorithm, and the step 2, 3, 4 or the middle of those start and stop steps are depends on the problem. So here we don't have the problem, that's why we just write in this way. So algorithm is a kind of process where you can solve a problem step by step by writing the solution method. Okay, now we have to know about the flowchart. So what is flowchart? Flowchart is a visual diagram that shows the steps of a process or algorithm using symbols like arrows, rectangle and ovals. So that means flowchart actually some chart. That chart can visualize by the user or the developer or anybody else, and those diagram actually show the solution, how to apply or how to solve the problem. So here for these kinds of flowchart we need some graph chart or some diagram to solve any kinds of problem. So at first we have to know all of the graph. So here we have a lots of graph in our textbook. You must need to know those graph, but we just use some of those graph in our lecture because this is very necessary in our whole chapter. Without this 4 or 5 graph, we don't need more diagram for flowchart. Okay, but you have to know the name of those diagrams. So at first we have to start this diagram. This diagram is an oval shape, and this is called the start and stop. Okay, so this diagram is called the input or output. So if you want to give input to your computer, or if you want to have the output from your computer, then you have to use this shape. So also we have a processing box. So in this box we have to write the calculation like C equals to A plus B, or any kinds of theory, any kinds of law you can use inside of this box. Here you have to use this kinds of diamond shape box, and this box is known as decision box. Like if you want to make a decision through this box, then you have to use these kinds of box. Like I say 5 is greater than 7. Is this true? No. So if you want to make a decision, then you have to use this kinds of box. If you want to make any kinds of execution, like c is equals to 2 plus 3, here you have to use this kinds of box. If you want to input anything, or if you want to see the result of the program, then you have to use this kinds of box. And start and stop box are same. So here also we have to know the very important thing. This is called the flow line. So there is a two types of direction, we can see this. So if you use this shape, bottom arrow, that means your program or your flow chart going down. And if you want to use this shape, top arrow, then that means your program going up. So we must know about this flow line, but at first we have to know the shape name, and after that we have to use those shape to solve our any problem. Now we have to move. What is programming language? We already talked about that. Here C is a language used to write instruction that a computer can execute, especially for system level programming. Okay, so that means if you want to solve a problem through your computer, that means you have to give the instruction to your computer, and C are responsible for giving those kinds of instruction to your computer. So here we have an example. Maybe you don't understand this example because this is your initial stage. Just we write a code that you maybe you could be familiar with this code later on the class. So here hash include stdio.h, this is the main structure of a program. Just we understand the structure. After that void main, then we have a printf. So printf means that they must print something. So what is the printable item? Here hello comma world, then exclamatory sign. After that we have another printf, hello comma students. So this is our output portion and this is our input portion. Here we just write code to our computer and give command that I have to see these kinds of print. So here the output should be hello world and hello students, and this code is run by a IDE. So what is IDE? We must know this later on the class. So here this black screen known as console. So if you want to see output from your computer using C language, that means you need a console to see those outputs. So this is a very important MCQ, you have to know this. Okay, so this is a programming language, and we must learn this language after our lecture number 2. Okay, here we have a first problem. So problem number 1, write an algorithm and draw a flowchart to find the sum of two numbers. Okay, so that means we have to write an algorithm and draw a flowchart for find the sum of two numbers. That means we have to add two numbers, right? So here the algorithm, already we know that algorithm means we have to write the solution step by step. So here our step number 1, start. Then if I want to add two numbers, that means we have to know those two numbers, right? So our step number 2 should be input two numbers. So two numbers, which numbers? So you can write the value like 5 and 4, but here I used to write these kinds of variable a and b. So what is variable? Maybe you know that. If you don't know, don't worry about it, I will discuss this later. So here we input a and b for add those number, because the value of a should be anything. Like if you want, you can give a is equals to 5, b equals to 7. If I want, I can give the input a is equals to 5, b is equals to 7, or a equals to 10, b equals to 10. So whatever I want. So here input number is input number can be anything, and it's very important that you must choose a variable to input your value. So here step number 3, after input those value I have to calculate. Okay, so that's why we use y. This is our another variable, y is equals to a plus b. That means if I add those value a and b, and the solution should be carried by this y. So here y must carry the result of this equation. Okay, so here after having this result, we have to print the value. So print the value of y, because we want to know the result of this equation. So here finally we have to stop the program. So that means this is a very simple task, that at first you have to start, then you have to input those two numbers, then calculate the equation, then print the value whatever you have and stop. So there is a question that YAB, this is this fixed? No, you can write your name here, you can write your friend name here, you can write your another friend name here. So this is flexible. Okay, you can write variable as your, but we have some variable declaration, and we have some naming variable naming limitations. So we will discuss these topics after lecture number 1. We will discuss it in lecture number 2. So now here, what is flowchart for this program? At first we have to start the program. So we already know about that. Start, this kinds of oval shape represent start. So after that we have to input. So we know the shape of the input and output. There is the input shape, and also this is the output shape. Also here we write input AB. That means this shape only responsible for input in this case. Okay, so we need to input. After that we have to calculate. Maybe you can remember the calculate box. This is the shape, rectangle shape, and this shape are responsible for calculating any kinds of equation. Here we write here y is equals to a plus b. After that we have to find the value of y, that means the result. So we need to print the result. So that's how we again place these kinds of box, and this is the here we write print y. That means here this shape are responsible for giving us output. So here is the shape, and this is another shape. Those shapes are same, but they have different word because we write the different instruction inside of those two boxes. After that we have to stop the program. We already know the stop shape. So here this is our stop shape. Many of you can ask me a question that where is our diamond shape box? Like we already learned this box, but where is this? In this problem we don't have any kinds of decision. Okay, just we have a equation. So that's how we use this kinds of rectangle box or processing box. But later on our problem, maybe we find the question where we have to make a decision, then we must use this kinds of dimension box. Okay, so this is our problem number 1. So this is a very easy problem you have, and you can write your code according to your way. So here you can write algorithm in your language. Also flowchart, this is very important, very easy, and in this structure we must follow for our problem number 1 to 18. So you have to memorize these things. Okay, now we have a similar problem here, that find the sum. Our problem number 2, find the difference between two numbers using algorithm. That means here we have to subtract those values. Determine the multiplication result of two numbers within with the help of algorithm and flowchart. That means here we have to multiply, here we have to subtract. Here we give the sign after the question, but in your exam paper we will not have this kinds of sign. Okay, so here determine the quotient of two numbers using the algorithm and flowchart. So here we have to find the division result, which is called quotient, and we have to find the algorithm and flowchart for those problems. So here determine the remainder of two numbers using the algorithm and flowchart. Sometimes we have the remainder value, always we have the remainder value. Sometimes the remainder should be 0 or sometimes not. Like if I divide this 10 with this 2, that means we have no remainder, that means we have remainder 0. So remainder, sometimes we need this value for solving our problem. So that's why we need to know the operation, determine the remainder of two numbers using an algorithm flowchart. We must learn this thing also. Here our another problem is find the sum 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers using, you can ask for the summation for two numbers or three numbers or four number or five numbers. Okay, so whatever you have you can write according to your question. Okay, we have the solution also in this slide. After some basic concept we must solve those problems also. Here basic concept, here, what is variable? So variable means a container which can contain numbers, text or character that can use the change in a program. So here a variable means like A, which can contain a value like 25, or B is equals to 30, or C, here C is the summation of those two value A plus B. Okay, so A is equals to 25, A is equals to 30, A equals to 50, whatever you want, you can give the value for this A. So A is a kind of variable which can vary their values. Okay, so A is called the variable. Okay, now we have to know some important things about this variable, that if you see these things, C is equals to A plus B, and also A plus B equals to C. In terms of mathematics, both equations are correct, right? But if you are talking about our programming language, there we have to think in another way. Okay, here this is the right way to write the equation, and this is the way is wrong for the C programming. So if you want to write anything to your C program, any equation or any value, you have to keep the value right of the equal sign. Okay, and you have to keep the variable in the left side of the equal. That means C equals to A plus B. Here that means A plus B, if you add the value, and the value should be kept inside of this C. C can carry the value. Okay, here C program is a kind of language that where always the value contained to the left side variable. Okay, so which variable have in the left, you have in the left side, this variable are responsible to keep the value after the equal. Okay, so that's why you have to make sure that you write the variable left side on equal, and you have to write the value right side of the equal. Okay, now we have another thing that we have to understand. Here we have A is equals to 5, also we have a uppercase A equals to 5, and A is equals to 20, and A is equals to 17. So what is the value of A? Maybe you can say that A is equals to 20 because it's the highest value, or maybe you can say that A is equals to 5 because it's the first value of A, or somebody will say that A is equals to 17, right? So which one is correct? Obviously A is equals to 7 is correct, because if you consider that this is our memory and we have a location for A. Here if you keep this 5 inside of this location, after that you have another location for this capital A. Here you also have this 5. So C programming always carry the last value of the variable. Okay, you have to remember this. C programming can carry the last value of a variable. So here we have the 5. After that we have 5 also for the capital A, which is our different variable, because we have the case sensitive language, right? After that A is equals to 20. So this 5 will be replaced by the 20. Okay, you have to remember this thing. This 5 is replaced by this 20 because they can't keep those values. After that they have 17 also. Then this A will forget the previous value, the 20, and after that he will keep the last value, this is 17. So A is equals to 17 is our result. And what about this A? We have only one value 5, that means this A is equals to 5. So in this way you have to answer in your MCQ. Okay, do you have any question? Okay, thank you. Now we have to talk about this constant. A constant is a fixed value that does not change during the execution of a program. That means constant value does not change their value, right? Like 3, 5, 0. This is a constant value, right? 3 can't say that 3 is equals to 4. This is not true. So 3 is equals to 3, 5 is equals to 5, 0 is equals to 0. That means they have only one value, that is called a constant value. Also We have another example that pi is equals to 3.14. This is the constant value, right? So this is called the constant which value can be changed. Okay, so now we have to know some very important thing. This is our the difference between mathematics and C. We have different sign for those different topics. Here in mathematics we write plus, also in C we write this plus sign. Also this is minus, okay. Here we have the multiplication sign in mathematics, where we have this star mark in the C program. That means if you want to multiply anything in your C program, that means you have to apply these kinds of star mark. This is called multiplication. Now in mathematics we have this division sign, and here in C programming we have two different sign to represent this division. Here this is called the quotient, which is actually indicate the result of the division. Okay, after that we have this percent sign. This is called the remainder. That means this sign actually indicate the remainder value of a division. Like if I divide this 5 by this 2, then we have 2 as our quotient. That means this is our division result, and this one is our remainder. Like 5 divided by 2, we will get 2 as your division result. And if I write this 5, this sign is known as remainder modulus sign. So 5 modulus of 2, which is actually represent our remainder value. This is called 1. So in this way you have to write the division in terms of C programming. Okay, here in mathematics we write this greater than equal, and in C programming we have to write this greater than equal in this way. Okay, you can write in mathematics together, where in C programming you have to write this in different set. So also you have the less than equal, where the C programming is the difference than less than equal. So in mathematics you write here union sign. You already know that this is called, or this is known as also and sign. If you want to represent and, this word and, or this logic and, then you have to use both the and sign together. So this is called and in C program. Okay, and also in programming, if you want to write or, here you have to draw this parallel line. Okay, where in mathematics you write this intersection. This is called or, and here in C programming you have to write this parallel line. Also in mathematics, if you want to express the left side is equals to right side, you can write this way. Whereas in C programming you have to write double equal to indicate the equal part, left side and right side. Like if I want to give equal to is equals to 2 in mathematics, this is okay, but in C programming you have to write 2 equal to, so that actually indicate that left side and right side are equal. Also in mathematics we write this is not equal, like 3 is not equal to, where in C programming you have to write 3 exclamatory sign then equal then 2, and this is means not. This exclamatory sign indicates not, so that means 3 is not equal to, you have to write in this way. Okay, so this is the main basic difference between mathematics and C program. Maybe you understand very perfectly, and this is very important part. Without this part you can't program. Okay, so if you want to learn programming perfectly, then you have to learn this operator. So here we have the problem, that problem number 2 we already discussed about that, find the difference between two numbers. So here we have the again algorithm, then we just use here negative sign or minus sign here. That's why we also use here minus sign. If you are asked for this multiplication result, then you have to use this star mark in between A and B. Also you have to use here star mark. So again, if you want to find the quotient of the two numbers, so that means you have to use this or division sign. So finally, if you want to find the remainder value of two numbers, so that means you have to use the percent of sign, which is known as remainder, and which is this sign name as modulus sign. So this sign actually indicates the remainder, so here you have to use also. So finally the difference is, if you ask for that find the sum three numbers using an algorithm and flowchart. So if you are asked for any kind of summation, and you have to add three numbers. So what is the difference is you have to take input for three variable a, b and c, and the calculation should be a plus b plus c. That is the simple difference. And you have to use also here a, b, c. We have to add another variable to input, to take input. So here also we have to use a plus b plus c. So that's all for today. Maybe you understand all the things very perfectly, and in this chapter we learned 5.1 and 5.2 parallelly. That's why we just learned basic algorithm and flowchart and basic procedure of algorithm and flowchart in our first lecture. In our second lecture, we must learn about C programming and the basic concept of C programming, how to write a code and how to operate a program, or how to the basic stuff, structure of a programming. So that's all are very important for C programming. So you have to learn those lecture also. And one precaution must, you have to know that if you miss any of the lecture in chapter 5, then you will not understand this chapter. Okay, so for this thing you have to learn each of the lecture very carefully with your personal hand note. Okay, so I will provide you all the solution, but it does not help you if you don't write the code and don't write the algorithm and flowchart. So that's the one thing that can help you, that you have to practice by yourself. So keep practicing, keep upgrading. Thank you so much.